Hello everybody. Today I am in Rahns, Pennsylvania at the site of the Pennsylvania Live Steamers. I'm going to talk about some interesting structures or forms or cement that's here at the club. I joined the club here back in 2014, and I've been around this track and over this trestle, which by the way this is called Mercer Bridge, which deserves its own video entirely. It's one of our prized possessions here at the club. So I've been over this bridge and through this section around this track hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, probably bordering on over 1,000. I don't know. It's been about 12 years and I like to run the crap out of my stuff, so I've been around here a lot. And it wasn't until the last couple of years, or maybe a couple of years ago, I was down here doing some work or doing something. And it might have been storm cleanup or something, because this is the Perkiomen Creek. And have you ever heard about the flooding down here at the club? Well, there's the creek, here's our property, and here's our main line. So when it floods, it doesn't take much to get floodwaters up here to us. So anyway, so I was down here one day and I happened to walk up to these cement slabs. And then I was looking at them and I walked over to this one and I noticed bolts sticking out of it. There's 4 of them on this side, and over here there's 4 more bolts. Those are definitely intentional, and they're there for a specific reason, and they're pretty sized bolts. I would say they're probably 3/4, I'm not sure. And then there's a matching form over on this side. Now this one, as far as I can tell, I've never been able to find any bolts on this thing. I can't see any bolts or remnants of where bolts would have been over here. Yeah, so either they were just cut off really close to the base and they're covered in moss and dirt and the rust blends in, or maybe that was a hole for one. I don't know. Either that or maybe this is upside down. Maybe the bolts are on the other side of this. I don't know. I did notice this earlier for the first time. Kind of an interesting looking form. Doesn't go anywhere. It only goes into here. But it looks kind of intentional. I'm not sure what it is. So I asked a couple of guys here at the club who've been here for a while about these cement forms. Some of the guys had no clue what I was talking about. They didn't seem to pay attention or even really give any thought what these are. The one guy told me he thinks they were here when the club moved here. He wasn't here then, but as far as he could recall, he thinks they were just here. And then one guy, I think, told me that they were brought in here. They were moved here for the bridge. Now I find that hard to believe because these are heavy. Of course, I didn't try picking one up, but I don't like to estimate the weight on this. I mean, 2,000–3,000 pounds maybe. I mean, these are heavy. And to have brought them all the way down here just to hold back a little bit of an abutment for the bridge, just to hold that dirt back a little, just to put them like that, I don't know. I don't see it. I just don't see them bringing them down here all that way just for that. I don't understand it. Now they do happen to line up almost perfectly with our bridge abutment. They look very intentional. I mean, were they put here in case of flooding so the water wouldn't wash away the side of the bridge? Possible. I mean, that would make sense because, like I said, there's the Perkiomen Creek, and it comes up, and if it goes in there enough, that could wash out the bridge. Maybe they're there for that. I mean, that would make sense. I just don't see how they would have moved them. The club came here in 1969. It started out in 1946 in Paoli and moved here in 69 or 70. And this part of the line wasn't completed till like later 70s or like 80. It took a while to complete this whole track. So I don't know. It's just something I've always wondered. And the more I think about it, they do look like they'd be positioned to stop erosion in case of a flood. But even if they were brought in, what are they? Where are they from? Now, as far as I know, I got two theories. They were either here and there was some form of structure already here or building. But as far as I know, the only building that was here, you might be able to see it, I can't see it from here, is our clubhouse. Our clubhouse was here before the club was here. And rumor has it that it was once like a veterinarian clinic or a horse doctors or something for horses. And I even heard rumors that they used to do testing on animals in there. But apparently it's something like that, a vet or something with animals. But the clubhouse was already here before us. And from what I can find, as far as I know, there's never been anything else on this property. Although I was told recently that somewhere right in here in this area was a brick factory or a brick plant years and years and years ago. I don't know. I mean, if it was, there's zero remnants of it, unless that would be it. There's zero remnants of anything down here. You can't even see a vague resemblance of any kind of structure at all. The only other thing is there's a flat cement pad up near the yard, near the train yard. I was told that's something to do with the old sewer or something, or sewer, I don't know. But yeah, it's a mystery. What was once here? Was there a brick factory? Were these part of the brick plant? Why would you build a factory so close to the creek? Unless you needed the water for something. Now the other theory is, and what I think they look like personally, what I think, actually, what's this one over here? Looks like a hole on the side. Is that just coincidence? It might just be coincidental. But like I said, these line up perfectly for something to do with our bridge. Is it coincidence? I mean, I know in the year 2026, it's not cool to believe in coincidence, but I still believe in coincidence. I'm old-fashioned like that. So what do I think they might be if they were brought here from somewhere? To me, they look like bases of a railroad signal bridge. If you look at it, that's about right. I mean, the 4 bolts would hold each side of the bridge, and the bridge would go up and go over top of the track if you one on each side. Thing I've learned over the years, if you have concrete that's uneven and not a nice clean form, oftentimes that meant it was in the ground. So these in the ground, and these were bases for a oops, I thought that was attached. Well, all these years, look at that, it's not attached. It's been here a while, but not attached. A lot of moss. So was this a signal, were these bases for a signal bridge on a railroad? And if so, what railroad? Where'd they come from? Now, to those of you who don't know, the Perkiomen Railroad, you had to cross over, well, it's now the part of the Perkiomen Trail, but you had to cross over the Perkiomen Railroad to get into our property. Like I said, now it's the Perkiomen Trail, so you have to drive over what was the railroad to get into our driveway. It literally goes right against the edge of our property. So was this from the Perkiomen? Now, these were signal bridges, or for signal posts or signal bridges. The only place that I could picture besides down in Emmaus at the junction, so I don't think they had signal bridge down there. Maybe they did, I forget. The only place that had them was down at Perk Junction. Perk Junction, just outside Oaks. And that's about 9 miles that way? 9-10 miles? I forget. I'm not really good with that kind of stuff. But could these have been that? And if so, that was quite a maneuver to bring them here. And if they are part of the Perk wherever, it's pretty cool. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. If anybody's from this area, or maybe an old club member, or anybody who has any idea, you guys could add in the comments what you think these are. I'd like to know. I'd like to learn what these things are. And like I said, this one here, I can't see any bolts on the top. But maybe they were cut off, and maybe they're just buried under dirt and moss and I don't see them. Or maybe this is upside down. Maybe the bolts are on the bottom. And this here, it's hard to say. This doesn't look very uniform. But it looks, I'd have to say, it looks intentional. I don't know. Well, that's the fun of exploring and being into history. You get to learn things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk up here for those of you who don't know what a signal bridge is or why this would be part of a signal bridge, we have one up here. Of course, it's much smaller than a real full-size railroad one. It's 1.5 inch scale. Well, actually, it's not even a scale. It's not even actual scale. If it was scale, we wouldn't fit under it. But we do have a signal bridge. We have a couple. Yeah, we have several, actually. But there's one right over here I'm going to show you. Like I said, this is a lot smaller than a real railroad signal bridge. But you'll get an idea what I'm talking about, what I think those bases are from. Now, they could have been something else from some type of industry or some factory. They could have been something that held up a crane or a lift or an overhead, or who knows. I don't. That's why I'm asking. That's why I'm making this. So here's the signal bridge. Again, this is a lot smaller than a real one. This is ours. One of our many. There's one up there too. And over there. We have a lot. So now, this is the base. It's just a signal base right here. See, it's concrete. It's got a bolt. It holds each side of the bridge. Now picture that, but like full-size scale. That's what I'm thinking those are. And then they would have held up something like this. Now, where do they come from? I don't know. It just doesn't, none of it makes sense. Were they here? That makes no sense that they were down there. There's nothing here apparently, except for maybe a brick factory. And how'd they get positioned? Were they here and did we just position them? I mean, were they here? We just put them that way just because they were here and we wanted to use it to help it with erosion. That's always a possibility. I don't know. But again, it's just a little interesting things that keep you going in the world. And well, before I end this video, I'd just like to thank everybody. I know I try to keep these a decent length, but not too long because we have a short attention span these days. But I'd like to, well, I'd like to thank everybody who watches and pays attention to my videos and likes and comments and all that stuff, and who's here. I appreciate it. I really do. And I'd also like to ask you guys to like my videos, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. It helps the algorithms. It helps get it out to more people. I don't know if his people nowadays are just looking up different things, if it's an algorithm change from Facebook, YouTube, or what it is, but a lot of historical pages, channels, and like model railroad and railroad based type stuff, kind of like what I do, a lot of the guys have been noticing that the views have been dropping a lot. Now, my channel's not as big as some of theirs, but I've noticed it too. I don't know, I guess YouTube's algorithms have changed or something. Something's different. I'm not sure. But channels like mine just aren't getting the push from YouTube lately for some reason. So if you could just give a like, comment, just to help get the channel going more, because the more it gets around, the more motivated I get, and the more I'm going to do. I'm going to keep making it because I like doing it. But anyway, show YouTube that you guys like railroad channels and model trains and historical pages. Let them know you still like it, that you're still there for it. All right, thank you, and I'll see you next time. See you later.